Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Today we are going to be working on this adorable 4-way split Halloween tumbler. There is a lot going on in this, but it is so cute. I absolutely love it. So we are starting with a 20-ounce straight tumbler from Tumbler Supply Store, and we're going to get real technical here with the measurements because, you know, that's how I am. I'm very precise. So what I did is I took a piece of notebook paper and I wrapped it around the tumbler, and then I trimmed it off so it was the exact width of the tumbler, and then I folded it into fours, you know, so like I said, we're getting real technical here today. All I did was mark off where the piece of paper met itself, and then I pulled it off. I folded it in at that mark line, so it was exactly, I don't know about anybody else, but tumbler. I'm not good with tape measurements. Paper like I'm good with half, three-quarter, but when you get all the little lines on the inside, I'm a no-go. So I'm more of a like, it's 4 and 2 lines, like Trina said yesterday from Diamonds and Dust in her live. That's exactly how I am. I'm 4 and 2 lines, so I wanted to figure out a way to measure it that was a little bit more exact for my type of measuring. If you know, you know. So then I wanted to figure out the best width for each little section. So I just put it up against all these different sized painter's tapes that I have, and I found the one that was the absolute closest, which was a really thick one and then a skinny one. So I just went around the tumbler and taped it off. I started with the big one, and then I did a little one, and then I did a big one, and then I did a little one. In the end, it wasn't like a precise exact measurement. The tape wasn't as the actual squares were going to be. So in the end, it didn't exactly line up. Like the last little bit of tape overlapped a little bit, but it's okay because you really can't tell in the end. It really wasn't that much. So anyways, I taped it off, and then I am going to pull off the last 2 tapes and then skip one and then pull off the next 2, so the opposite 2 spaces were exposed. After that, I pulled out my white chalk paint and painted both of those open sections and then let them dry. And then on this section, we're going to take Bria Reese, I think the color is Fog, for alcohol ink, and I just put on a makeup sponge and daubed it all the way around. We just wanted kind of a cloudy look, I guess you could say. Used a little alcohol to help smooth that out and let that dry. And then on the next white side, I forgot to film the whole thing, but I used the paintbrush and painted on the foil glue. I had a brain moment and couldn't remember what it was called. And then I took this luster dust. It's called Purple Opal, and it's like a flake, and I used it like the tack it method and put it on and then rubbed it in on that other white side. And then we're going to remove the tape from the next 2 exposed sides, and this one we are going to just paint like a limey green color, and it needed 2 coats, so I painted that on, let that dry, and then we're going to use the foil glue again and apply this really cool green color from Artistic Painting Studio. After I painted on that foil glue. I did use my heat gun to speed up the drying process because I'm just impatient and I have a hard time just sitting there for a long time waiting for this foil glue to dry. You know, it's like they say, a watched pot never boils. That's how I feel with this. So I just like to use my heat gun to speed up the process and then apply the foil. And I just had this one chunk left, so I just laid it completely flat on this section, and then I just took my felt squeegee and used both sides and just really rubbed it in there. My gloves were kind of sticking. They were like not wet or anything, but they were just like kind of making it hard to rub on this foil. So I just took that off and then used my squeegee to rub it all in and then just peeled it off. And I am the type of person who I like the distressy, grungy look that the foil gives. Some people want a much cleaner look, and I like that look too, but for me, I really love the distressy, grungy look. So it was exactly what I was looking for. And then on the final exposed area, I just took some orange paint and mixed in a little bit of my Crystalac glitter glue and then painted that section and applied this orange glitter that I mixed up with a ton of orange glitters before. I don't even know what's in there, so I'm sorry about that, but it was the perfect color for this section, and I just applied that, and then I set it aside, let it sit overnight so that it was all completely dry, and then I sprayed it with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum's clear glossy spray paint, and then gave it a good coat of epoxy. And then when that was all dry, I took it outside and just sprayed the very bottom section in this matte or flat black spray paint, and then I took a paper towel and some not rubbing alcohol, it was acetone, and just kind of wiped it away. I just wanted a rough edge. I didn't want just the overspray look. I wanted it to be kind of really rough down there on the edge. Cleaned up the rest of the look, and then we are going to move into the next step. So each section is going to have its own little character, and the green is going to be Frankenstein. So in my Silhouette Studio program, I cut out some hair, some little like stitches for him, some eyeballs, and a little stitched on mouth. So I got those all applied, and then I am going to move on to the next little section, which is the pumpkin. So I kind of went back and forth. I wasn't sure if I wanted the actual pumpkins on there, or I thought this was kind of cute. So I just added a bunch of different pumpkin faces. And then we're going to move into the ghost section. And with that, I just layered all these little ghost outlines. I'm not so worried about them overlapping at the moment or their faces. We're going to fix all that. And I just filled it up till it was full. And then I'm going to come back to this section. I will show you what I'm going to do because I ended up having to cut more ghosts than I originally thought. So I got all those applied, and then I got eyeballs for this section, which is going to be the mummy section. So he got some, well, it's like 3 stacked mummies, I guess you could say. And then here we are coming back to the ghost section. And then once I had all those filled up, I trimmed off the top. And then where they overlapped, I'm going to just trim off inside some of those or behind. So it looks like some of the ghosts are in front of the others and some are behind. And I gave it no rhyme or reason. I just picked the next ghost and said, okay, he's going to be in front, or nope, I'm going to trim off this side so he looks like he's behind. It was when the ghost section for me really came together. At first I was like, this looks like a hot mess, but once you trim it off and give it those layers, it really came together, and I absolutely love this little ghost section. So I trimmed all those off, and then I trimmed off the edges too where it overlapped into the other colored sections, and then some of the eyeballs, I just couldn't get them to cut. They were tiny, or they flew off when I went to pull off the weeding. So at the end, after I trim off all the ghosts, I just take my Posco's, I think that's how you say it, paint marker, and just added some eyeballs and some mouths to the ghosts, and this side was all done. after the ghost face were all done, I filled in the little white area on Frankenstein's face, or his eyes, and then I filled in the white spaces on the mummy's eyeballs. And then this is my favorite part of the little mummies, is I took these little white strips of vinyl and just randomly strewed them across each other to look like a mummy wrapping, and it turned out so cute. I really can't decide which little section is my favorite, but it's really close. I think this might be my favorite section. So I just had cut a ton of these little white strips because I didn't know how many I was going to need, and then I just randomly started placing them. I overlapped the eyes a little bit just to kind of make it look like it was over the eyeballs, and then just put a piece of vinyl where I felt it looked good in that spot. So some are straight, some are crooked, overlapped, and really it gave it a great mummy look. I wasn't sure if it would blend in too much, or like, you know, when you use black vinyl and black paint, it all kind of just blends in together to look like one solid piece. I was a little worried that this would happen with the white vinyl, but it did not. It really gave it the look of the overlapped look. I don't know how to explain it, and now I'm rambling. So anyways, I kind of just filled it in to my liking, and I wanted to leave a little bit of the backing to show through in some spots just to give it that authentic mummy look. And then after I was happy with the way all of this looked, I just trimmed down the edge where it overlapped into the other color, and then this section was all done. After that, I cleaned off the top rim from any over epoxy, and then I took my Posco marker and dotted the eyeballs for Frankenstein, and then I gave it one more coat of epoxy. And then after that, when I cut striping, I always cut a whole bunch and then just throw it in the drawer. So I just pulled out what I had for black and finished off those lines in between each section, and then I just trimmed it off where the black edging on the bottom ended. I just took a really sharp X-Acto knife and trimmed that off right at the edge. And then I thought I was going to be done, like that was my plan, that was the end. So I gave it a coat of epoxy, and then I was looking at it and I thought it really needed something else. So I went online and found this cute little saying. It says, "There is magic in the night when pumpkins glow by moonlight." And I thought that was fun for this, even though it's not just pumpkin themed. I thought it was a cute little saying. So I decided I wanted to add one more little Halloween looking color. So I cut the offset out in purple, and then I had this really opal-y, color shifty vinyl. So I cut that out, put that over the purple, and it was perfect addition to finish off this tumbler. So I added that, and then it got 2 more coats of epoxy, and this beauty was all done. I absolutely love the way this came together. I was inspired by this Halloween wood sign I had seen. I think it was someone on TikTok painted it. They had done like a cat, a mummy, a pumpkin, and Frankenstein, and I was like, that would be really cute on a tumbler. So I took my vision and made it come to life, and I absolutely love it. I almost want to keep this one, but I do have like 500 tumblers of my own. So if anyone wants it, it will be available on my website, and in the description box I will leave all of the products I used and where you can find me on all of the social media platforms. And I thank you so much. I hope you loved this tumbler as much as I do, and I will see you guys next week, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, y'all.